This video is gonna cover what is React, why is it so popular, and how can we set up a React basic application. So let's get started. React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, and React is a JavaScript library built by Facebook. So that means it helps us to create the front end of the applications, of the web applications. And the second thing comes in, why is it so popular? First of all, it is built by Facebook, so that means there is a large and active development community, including the Facebook developers itself, who continue to maintain this library. Second, the code that is written in the React is easy to maintain. Third, React helps you to build dynamic and interactive interfaces easily. Fourth, it's an open source library, which means everyone can contribute to it as well. Fifth, it is highly paid as well. The popular websites that are consuming or using React include Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, ChatGPT, Airbnb, SoundCloud, Tesla, WhatsApp, Netlify, Khan Academy, Code Academy, and the list goes on. Next thing is how can we get started with the React, or we can set up this React on our local computer. For this, first of all, we need to install Node.js on our computer. If you're on the Windows, you can just directly go to this website, click on download, and download the Windows installer. You can do the same for if you are on the Mac, or if you are on the Mac, you can use even the command line tool, which is, if you have brew, you can simply say brew install node and it would install the node for you. And you can specify the version as well, like brew install node at specify the specific version that you want. So once Node.js is installed, once Node.js is installed, you need is a build tool or development tool to help you manage your React dependencies and the project. Usually people use create React app build tool to help manage the React, but this one I found it as slow, and sometimes it corrupts the node modules folder as well. So I'm gonna stick with actually Vite, which is also build tool, which is very fast actually in comparison with create React app. So it's a front end tool which helps you package most of the front end frameworks or front end. It's a build tool that aims to provide a faster and leaner development experience for modern web projects such as React, Angular, or Vue. So to do this, you can go to this website and then you can copy these commands. Whatever, if you're using yarn, you can use this one. If you're using npm, you can use this command. By default, with the Node.js, npm comes by default. So I'm gonna copy this one. I've just created an empty folder here. I'm gonna click on new terminal and paste that command. It's gonna ask me if I wanna install this package. Yes, I want to install this package. And what it is saying is what should be the project name. So project name should be Vite-React, which I have already actually set it. So it's going to actually create in one more folder inside, in which it is going to do this thing. So that's fine. In here, I'm going to select a framework which I want the Vite to do its part and set that boilerplate for us for that specific framework. So I'm going to select a React here, and from here I can select JavaScript, and now it has created Vite project, or sorry, not the Vite project but the React project for us. So now we need to do these commands one by one. cd space Vite-React. Can go to this one. Then I need to do is the second command, npm install. Once I go into that folder, I need to install all the dependencies which are mentioned here. These dependencies: React, React DOM, and these dev dependencies. So once I hit npm install, it's going to create in a node modules folder here in which all of these dependencies are going to install. So let's just hit enter and wait for it. So once it is installed, how can I run this a React project? Is by simply running this command npm run dev. And here it is, the project is already started at this port. So I can open this port, or I can control click or command click on the Mac. This one is not going to pop up for you. It's an extra extension for me. Navigate. So here it is. The default Vite plus React project looks like this. And if I click on this, like, it just increases. So that is a default React boilerplate that comes with the Vite itself. So let's understand these files and folder structures. Package.json is a file where all of your information about the project will go in, and all of the dependencies information, like which dependencies are you going to use in later on. So this will be changing by the time. Actually, it will be increasing by the time, or not only changing. Yes, change as well. Like if you want to remove some dependencies, then you can set up your scripts. Like if you do npm run dev, should start your project. If you run npm run build, like once you are done with the development and you want a production version of it, the optimized, the compressed version, you can run this command npm run build. And then this package log JSON is the detailed version of package.json, which contains the information like where those packages are installed, like where the Babel core is at, so the path. So it's going to be under node modules folder somewhere here. So it's a detailed version of package.json. Next is gonna be the, definitely it's a web page, so we need is at least one index.html page, and that's gonna be the only HTML file we're gonna see. So in this we see the index.html, but we don't see anything inside of this. The only thing that I see in here is a div with nothing in it. Actually, there is no content in it, but we just saw on the web page there was so much of the content. So how did this even came up? Let's understand that. How did that came up on the screen? So it is because there is a JavaScript file that is getting linked in this HTML file, which is in the source folder, and its name is main.jsx. So I have to go to source folder, and I would have to go to main.jsx. So here it is, the content. So in here, main.jsx, it can be .js or .jsx. It's up to you. Ultimately, Vite will compile it to a one script file, so you don't have to worry about that. Vite is gonna do automatically that stuff for you. So importing React at the top means like definitely it's a React project. You need to import React at the top to get started with it, and you need this one more library, React DOM, which helps you actually render out this whole content on the web page. The third one is import app. This one is actually another file, app.jsx. I'll come to that in a second, but we are importing another file, app.js here. And last thing we are importing is .css file, where all of the CSS, the styling part of the web page is, and you'll see that styling, like the page is nicely styled in here, whatever the colors are, it's in the center, the images are properly aligned. So all that stuff is here in the index.css. Next thing is we are saying React DOM, and React DOM already discussed, like React DOM allows you to render out some content of the web page or the React application to the screen, or React component on the screens. We will discuss more about the components later on in the next video maybe. So React DOM is just grabbing an element, document.getElement by ID, which is root. So I'll have to go back. So this is the root element. It's grabbing this div and it is saying show something in it. And what is that something? It is saying React.strict mode. React.strict mode doesn't mean any content. React.strict mode is just like additional thing. Even if you remove this, nothing is going to be affected on the screen. I can show you that as well. It's still the same. Nothing is really changed on the screen. React.strict mode is useful. Why it is? Because it provides more information about the errors. and it helps you stick with the best standard practices of the React. If you are not really advanced, so you need to include this so that it helps you utilize the best practices which the React uses. But in this one, we are actually rendering out app. And what is app? So that is app that we imported at the top. And in this root element, we are rendering out our app. And what is app? So to see the app, we have to go to the app. So this is what all getting rendered on the screen. Before this one, the states thing, we're not going to cover this in this video. Maybe this will be covered in the next video or after that. And we don't need this all, like that count stuff. I'll remove this all. And on the web page, this is whatever I say here is going to be rendered out on the screen. Hello React. So this is the starting point in that, not in that, but in the main.jsx. In this one, we linked our main.js file, and in that we are grabbing that div element, that root with the ID of root, and in that we are running out our app, and in the app we are saying hello React. And let's understand this also. React uses functional components. This is a component. We'll talk about more about the components later on, but for now just consider it as a component. Okay, React used to use class-based components as well. This one is a functional components. There are two types of components that the React uses. One is the class-based components, and the other is functional components. But the class-based components are not used anymore after 2020, I guess. Nowadays only the functional components are being used, but if some company hasn't updated their project or their application to the latest standards, there are chances that they might still be using class-based components. But any application that was built after 2020, they're going to be using functional components, and in that every component returns something. So if I remove return from it, nothing is actually going to be on the screen, because if I don't return anything, there is going to be nothing in it. So what I'm returning is this is a div. This one is actually a JSX. So JSX and the components is going to be our next topic in the next video. I'm exporting this. If I do not export this, I wouldn't be able to import this here. So I have to export this first so that I can utilize it. So that was about the files and folder structure and how to get started with the React. What is React and how can we set up a small basic application of the React. In the next video, we'll cover up components, JSX, and more on the React. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching.